Explain.
Karma, its original meaning simply means action. That's the
Hmm.
actual Sanskrit word. Karma means action. And what
Hmm.
it means is if you understand that you're out of balance and you take the actions to bring yourself back into balance, you have erased your karma. Your karma is simply the action you take to bring yourself back into a balanced state from being out of balance. So it's not the way people think it works energetically. And when people, remember, when people pass on, everyone goes through life review and they
Hmm.
look at what they've done and they experience the consequences of every action they took as if it's happening to them.
Hmm.
So that's the lesson the soul learns to balance itself out and realize, oh, I forgot who I was. I really could have done this in a different way, but this is the way I did it. So I'm going to experience all the consequences of everything everyone experienced by my actions to teach me the lesson of what it means to take an action and create a consequence so that next time I can learn to do this in a different way. So the soul is also learning how to maintain that connection and that remembrance of, no, that's not the way to do this. If I'm going to choose to do something similar again, I have to do it in a different way. And this is then when you get the souls that are Gandhi and Mother Teresa and people who are doing things where it's like, look, I'm going to explore the ideas of poverty and I'm going to explore the ideas of lack and I'm going to explore the ideas of resistance and I'm going to explore all this, but I'm going to do it in a way where I am showing you I have so much incarnational experience, hundreds or thousands of lifetimes where I have learned as a soul the lesson of how to cause consequences in a way that is not devastating to humanity, but really is that finely tuned idea that allows humanity to go, you know what? I'm going to wake up because of this person's actions, and I'm going to do things differently because of what they're showing me.
So then you're
So,
essentially talking about an ascended master. So the ascended masters are doing that, but they've raised their frequency to such a level that a Jesus, a Buddha, a Saint Germain, a Yogananda, they're shifting humanity in a positive way because they've at this point learned enough to know that I
yes,
don't have to kill 1,000 people or millions of people
exactly.
to make this shift.
Exactly, because exactly Jesus is a good example because he showed how fearful people were by allowing himself to be crucified. I mean,
Mm.
that takes chutzpah. You know what I'm
And then
saying?
some.
And then some. So that's the lesson taught in a different way, taught from the polar opposite way of a Hitler, is I'm going to show you how much fear you have within yourselves, not by getting you to kill what you're afraid of, but by getting you to kill me, to show
Mm.
you how fearful you are of some change that I'm suggesting to you.
Yeah.
That's what an ascended master does. So if Hitler had gotten everyone to face their fears in the way Jesus did, they simply would have killed Hitler and no one else.
Mm. Got you. But
That's
he did it a
that's
different.
the idea. That's the
So
difference.
are those? I mean, so I'm assuming those are just younger souls who are
A
given that
lot of
kind of
them
opportunity.
are. Yeah, well, I mean, younger in terms of experience. All souls are
Yes.
the same.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
talk about old souls, younger souls, we're talking about how much experience does a soul have in a certain framework, like Earth lives or things like that. So, yeah, an old soul is simply a soul that has experienced probably hundreds or thousands of experiences on Earth, whereas a young soul may just be starting out with a dozen or something like that.
Right. And they're just trying to figure things out. They're like, this is a cool kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like a freshman and a senior, essentially.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But, they could have been, basically they're the same kind of being, but they just don't have the same level of experience. And that's again what the whole life review is all about. You gain knowledge, you gain experience. Oh, it could have been done this way. It could have been done that way. This is the effect my actions had. I don't prefer that
It's
effect. I have to figure out another way to do this to get the same effect.
It's interesting looking at the analogy of sports. A rookie coming into the NFL, let's say, might have a tremendous amount of talent. We've all seen super
Mhm.
talented people who can accelerate very, very fast in that
Mhm.
environment. But
Mhm.
there's other rookies who have like a long 10, 12-year career,
Sure.
but they've learned so much more from being just playing the game again and again and
And
again
it-
and again, where you could start seeing, oh, that's how the defense is going to move. Oh, that's the quarterback's moved his leg there, so I'm going to be able to
exactly.
catch the ball. That's just experience. The same thing.
It's in every single walk of life. And, that's why the old joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Yeah. The more you do something, the more you develop a sense for that thing. I mean, I noticed that even in driving. I've been driving the streets of LA for over half a century. I
Right.
can tell what cars are going to do, even if they don't signal it. That
Oh
it's
yeah.
almost like the car takes on the body language of the driver. And
Yep.
so the subtlest little shift in that car is like that car is going to cut me off in about 5 seconds. And sure enough,
Yep.
they're
Yep.
not
Yep.
giving
Yep.
you an immediate, blatant indication they're going to do that, but they do it because you can read the subtlest change in the
Right.
way that car is being driven. And you just know what they're going to do in about 5 seconds. And they do.
It's so true. I mean, I've been driving not as long as you, but I've been driving a lot, and I drove a lot in LA as well, over a decade in LA. And
Hard to pick up on that. Yeah.
you can figure, you're like, I'll sense it, like, oh, let me just put the brake on. Oh, or if
Yep.
someone's not, if or if someone's like, there's something wrong with that. There's something going on there. And I
Yeah.
remember there was one car was coming by, and it was something going on, and I was like, I don't know what, I'm just gonna back off. I'm gonna hit the brakes a little bit, just let them do their thing. That car stopped. Someone got out of the back seat, got into the front, started fighting, throwing stuff at each other, like trying to pull the guy out. I'm like, okay, let's just turn and let's go.
Yeah.
But you could, but you
You
can
can tell.
feel it. You could
Yeah.
tell. So yeah, on the soul journey, the same thing.
Same thing.
So let me ask you, in your opinion and in Bashar's opinion, what are the greatest challenges we have in these next year specifically, but let's say the next 5 years for the rest of this decade as humanity?
Well, again, from his perspective, really understanding how to apply the formula that he shares with all of us very
Hmm.
precisely. Again, he has been delivering these steps in what he calls the Interstellar Alliance social experiment that are steps that he believes are important for us to take to put us in the correct energy for
What
open
are those?
contact.
I don't think you've actually ever spoken about that on the show. What are those steps?
The last several transmissions that he's done over the course of the last year have involved these very specific steps. The
Okay.
first one, very first step was start letting go of your conspiracy theories. Said it's not serving you. He said the things that you need to know. I'm not saying there aren't certain conspiracies. Obviously,
Hmm.
the whole UFO cover-up is a conspiracy.
Hmm.
But said, but people get so caught up and make so many speculations about things that aren't true, and they get caught up in all of these conspiracy theories, some of which are even contradictory to one another, that he said you're being led down a path where it's not allowing you to understand what's actually happening. It's actually clouding your judgment to get caught up in all of these mishmash of conspiracy theories without any proof at all that what you're saying is happening is happening. So that's the first step he gave us all.
Hmm.
And subsequent steps are things like contacting your representatives to say that you prefer the idea of disclosure for open contact and releasing of information about what the government knows about UFOs. It's also things like, look, go and volunteer to help, feed the homeless and stuff like that. Get out of yourself when you don't know what to do, when you feel like you're depressed or you don't know what your passion is. Go and help people feed other people. Go and help people build homes for other people. Go and help with animal rescue organization. Get out of yourself and go help and be of service to others by joining organizations that are being of service to others, to get out of yourself and find who you are so that you can really lock into what's going on. The whole idea again of the thing that's coming up of no more secrets is obviously another step in this social experiment. It's all about really looking at what you are as a social being and changing your relationship to everything around you so that you are being your true self and that your vibration is going to be far more compatible with the idea of open contact when ETs are presented to society. So yeah, there's a series of steps in this Interstellar Alliance social experiment that are designed to help us raise our frequency and be more compatible to open contact.
To watch the full video, click on the link below, and don't forget to subscribe.